Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and today we are going to be going over all of the boss fights for this month's Cavalier difficulty X-Men Prodigal Son. So of course Jubilee and Strife are this month's new champions, so they are of course the new bosses in this month's event quest. So without further ado, let's get it started. So the first boss that we come across is King Groot with the Rich Get Richer, Feat of Vigilance, Missing in Action, and Opportunist. Now with the Rich Get Richer, of course, those who have more unique buffs are going to gain more power quickly. And then also Feat of Vigilance, so when the attacker reaches 2 bars of power, King Groot gains a Vigilance buff. And then Missing in Action is whenever a buff, this one is kind of tricky, is whenever a buff on the defender, i.e. King Groot, expires, you are or if he lands a heavy attack or a special attack, if you land those, I should say rather, within 4 seconds of the buff expiring, then the defender is faltered. So that's what you want to happen. What you don't want is the opposite to happen, which will allow you to become faltered, which when you go to hit him, you will miss. Now, when you falter him, if he goes to hit you, he will miss. So I brought in Void here, number 1, because King Groot gets that regen. So I was like, you know what, I can reverse the regen here, but you know, you can bring in someone who gets a lot of buffs or a lot of unique buffs to gain power quickly to help you out with that. But Void also has a really long reaching heavy. So that was another reason I brought him in here. And a couple of times I kind of slipped up and launched the special a little too soon and kind of mistimed it. And I got really lucky because he faltered me and he didn't come back in swinging, which was really lucky on my part. But Void is a really good option here. You can use a lot of different champs here. Anyone will pretty much work. Champs though with long reaching heavies are of course good, because especially if you try to parry King Groot when he is in his like fury phase, right? Because he's gonna shrug off that parry and well can hit you in the face. So it's all about that spacing too. But overall, this isn't a bad fight. It's kind of like just a little bit of a more amped up King Groot fight, but overall it's not too bad. Void makes pretty good work of him, and see, you can see there I kind of waited a little too long, and there, see there, he faltered me and I missed. So I got kind of lucky there, but I did get, well, punched in the face. I don't know if it's necessarily what King Groot does. So you can see I have a little falter icon up right there in the upper left hand corner of the screen. So that would have mean if I would have gone to hit King Groot, I would have faltered and missed and he could have punched me in the face. So he had it up right there. Now the problem with this is when King Groot gets the falter on him, it doesn't last very long because he does have a tendency to shrug debuffs rather quickly. But overall, this isn't a bad fight and Void makes short work of him. All right, so now we're moving on to the second boss, which is Bishop, with Aggression Prowess. So every 2 seconds, Bishop is gonna gain a Prowess passive, which is not fun because, you know, if you come in here with someone who does energy damage, he's gonna do a lot of damage and he's gonna gain power really quickly. And then he's got Foresight. So with Foresight, intercepting his basic attack, intercepting him with a basic attack grants you a passive fury. So get on that intercepting game. I'm not the best at it, but I try. He's also got special delivery, so we all know how that works. You need to launch a special in order to reset the charges. Otherwise, you're gonna get a passive degen, which is no bueno. And he's also got limited immunity, so he's immune to all debuffs for the first 25 seconds of the fight. So it's a pretty long time. So that kind of works out well with the Foresight in order to intercept. And then he's also got backup recovery, which is why I brought Warlock in here. I figured I could power control him and then also stop his healing. So Warlock's great for this fight. Power control champs, tech champs are always really good against Bishop. So I just kind of kept it going here and I got really lucky here. I'm always 50-50 on Bishop special too. So I did okay at dexting that. So, but overall, again, this isn't a bad fight with Bishop. It could have been a lot worse. All right, so now we're going on to the next boss, which is Morningstar with Master of the Sword. So if she has less than 2 souls, she gains 1. Power Drain, so all of her specials will power drain you. Buff Toggle Unstoppable, so she's going to go unstoppable every 9 seconds for 3 seconds. She's got Power Snack. So if you don't have a lot of, or if you don't bring in a champ with a lot of buffs, you'll be okay. She's got Enhanced Special 1, which is fine. I prefer to dodge her Special 1 than her Special 2. And she's got Langer. And the buff toggle Unstoppable gets me, and well, you'll see what happens. So I got pretty lucky here. I'm not, again, the best at dodging her Special 2, but I made it work. And so I brought in Aegon because he was built up and I knew he would shrug the bleeds, but there, the buff toggle Unstoppable got me. And I'm just trying to bait out her Special 1 here because I want to dodge that instead of the Special 2. And there's the Unstoppable, and she didn't punch me in the face there, so I got pretty lucky there. And I completely forget about the Langer, which you're gonna see here in a minute. So I'm just gonna try to bait out this Special 1, but bringing in someone to handle that Unstoppable would have been better, but I kind of messed up there, which you'll see. So someone like Claire would have worked out probably pretty well, get the buff immunity going on. So I'm just trying to bait out this Special 1, and it takes a while. This AI was not very cooperative in throwing specials, so I'm worried I'm gonna get backed into the corner and she's gonna throw it and it's gonna wreck me. So there's the buff toggle Unstoppable again. And so I'm like, you know what, let's throw this Special 3, completely forgetting about the Langer. So this is what gets me. I probably, had I not thrown the Special 3, would have died anyways. So there's the Langer and dead Aegon. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna bring in Omega to finish this up. I'll keep my death field up, and I'll pay more attention to the buff toggle Unstoppable, because that's what really got me. Had I been more wary of that, I think the fight would have gone a lot better with Aegon, and also had I not launched my Special 3. So keep that in mind. Don't forget about the Langer, because that's what really got me, and pay attention to the Unstoppable. If you bring in a slow champ here, that's gonna work out really well in your favor. And so, but overall, it wasn't a terrible fight. I just made some very, you know, noob mistakes. All right, so now we're moving on to Wasp. And this fight really irritated me because I was kind of rushed and I was sloppy. So she's got Special 1 Bias, which is great. Enhanced Shock, so her shock abilities are 40% more effective. She's got Dulled, so crit chance is reduced by 50% for each buff active on you and debuff active on your opponent. So I brought in Storm Pyramid X, put her in the Lightning Tempest, and that didn't work out well. Wasp also has Limber, Terminal Velocity, so every time she's struck by a crit hit, even though through a block, it's going to increase her combat rate, which will work out in your favor for baiting out those Special 1s. She's got Shockingly Brilliant, so any champ inflicted with a shock debuff lands guaranteed crit hits for the duration of the shock debuff. So that's why I brought in Storm Pyramid X and put her in the Lightning Tempest, because I was like, okay, guaranteed crit hits, let's go. So, and this is where I mess up with Storm. This is where I mess up with Storm, because the stun didn't last as long as I thought, and I took a Special 1 directly to the face. So I was like, all right, let's it. I have a ramped up Guillotine 29.9, so I was like, I'm gonna bring her in here. I chose the Lifesteal function in case I, well, you know, had a Storm Pyramid X fight. But really just bait out those Special 1s. She's gonna get them quickly. But I brought in Guillotine here too because she doesn't crit, so she won't be gaining a lot of power. But this fight was a little bit tricky. It really was. So be careful with that one. All right, so now we're moving on to the first new boss, and that is Jubilee with special attack heal block. So her special attacks will heal block you for 10 seconds. She's got Footloose, so after activating a special attack, she's gonna be unstoppable and has a chance to evade. She's got Rise to Power, so when she's knocked down, a 4-second timer starts, and if she lands a hit or strikes into the block, she gains 50% of a bar of power. And Under Pressure. So with Under Pressure, when you dash back, you gain a Disorient debuff. So that's gonna lower, you know, your defensive ability accuracy and block proficiency. So kind of keep that in mind. So I brought in Emma here because I was like, oh, I'll deal with the evade. It won't be a big deal. Completely forgetting about the unstoppable part. This, I feel like this is like, the name of this video should be Katy Forgets About Unstoppable. So I brought in Emma thinking I could just handle the evade and it would be good. And so I'm really just trying to keep her in her telepath phase, and Jubilee's heavy right there. I just took that straight to the face. Phrasing, we're gonna go with it. But a slow champ here is really ideal, and you'll see who I use here after Emma because it's very clear that Emma's not gonna make it, unfortunately. But any champ that's gonna do a slow is a really good idea. So, you know, you can do Sorcerer Supreme, of course, She-Hulk, Red Guardian, Spider-Gwen, you know, any champ that can do a slow. So that's really what you want here. Don't be like me and try to be all fancy with it. Now, I could have played this a lot better had I paid attention to the Unstoppable. Clearly, that was a mistake on my part. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're going through here. So Emma wasn't probably my best option. My best option is who you're gonna see come in and clean it up because she really cleans it up. And right now, when I was in this part of the fight, I was just getting frustrated. I wanted to keep my prowess up and launch my special 2, and she's just not coming at me, and I'm a little bit hesitant still on her animation. So here, I think she's gonna charge me. And she ends up not, I think it's here. Oh yeah. So here she throws her special 1, and so now I'm out of charges. So I need to land crit hits, and then I go down. So terrible, I know. All right, so I decided to bring in Spider-Gwen here because Spider-Gwen, I love her paralyze off of her special 2, and of course her slow off of her heavy. So her slow off of her heavy is going to prevent Jubilee from not only evading, but going unstoppable. So the name of the game here is to bait out Jubilee's special 1s, keep the heavies going, keep that slow on, and launch my special 2. The special 2 inflicts the paralyze, so she's not gonna gain power when I'm hitting into her, which is fantastic. And I should have attacked her then, but I kind of was still a little bit hesitant on things after the whole, well, Wasp fiasco. So, but Spider-Gwen is a great option here. Now, there are other champs that can do this, but I had a lot of fun with Spider-Gwen here. I never really play Spider-Gwen all that much, and she is a fantastic champ for this Jubilee fight. So just bait out those special 1s if you're going to use Spider-Gwen, or really any other champ, but if you're going to use Spider-Gwen, just keep those special 2s going. After they're stunned, go ahead and land the heavies, keep that slow on. She won't gain power when you're hitting into her when she's paralyzed, and you'll be good to go. It'll make this fight easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, my Spider-Gwen is a rank 4, so hey, a rank 4 can come in and clean up what Emma couldn't, but shh, don't tell Emma I said that. All right, and now we're moving on to the final boss, which is Strife, and this guy really messed me up. All right, so he's got Power Thief Miss, so whenever you miss, you get a Power Thief passive for 10 seconds, and while this is active, he'll steal 5% of your current power. And he's also got Sadist, and then Now You See Me. So every 6 seconds, you're inflicted with a Falter debuff, giving you a 100% chance to miss for 3 seconds, and if you land a hit during this time, the timer is reset. And then they've got Performance Anxiety. Really? That's what you're gonna call this, kabam? All right, so with Performance Anxiety, after you use a special attack, a 15-second timer is started. If the attacker, you, activates a special attack while this timer is active, you're inflicted with a glancing debuff for 8 seconds, giving all of your attacks a 100% chance to glance. Now, with this guy, he's already got kind of a glancing mechanic, so it's like compounded onto it. So these hits can't be critical. So the best bet with this guy in order to deal with his charges is to keep him power locked or power burned or power stolen. Don't let him gain power. So that's why I was bringing in Warlock here, plus, you know, a little techno-organic stuff going on here. Strife doesn't have that anymore. So, and that special 2 wrecks you. So I highly recommend baiting out the special 1. So then I brought in Dr. Voodoo because I was like, oh, we'll just get to a special 2. It'll be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Plus Dr. Voodoo's got high energy resistance. And yeah, I'm still not used to his whole invisibility and the missing. This was quite a bit of a fiasco for these first couple of fights. I'm forewarning you, if you guys want to see some great face blocking, these are the fights for it. So anyway, back on to this. So now I pushed him to a special 2, and I'm like, I got a special 2, let's go. I just need to get my hit counter going, and dead. Rip Dr. Voodoo. So now I'm getting flustered. So I'm like, okay, OG power control champ, let's go Vision, right? Wrong. So wrong. So there's the glancing, the miss, and that shock damage. Guys, do you guys see that shock? I'm dead. I'm so like so deaded. Just I saw this shot going, I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, all right. MVP who's come in and clean up a couple fights was Guillotine 2099. So I had her built up from a fight along the path. So I was like, let's activate the power steal pre-fight and let's just go. Let's power burn this. So now I'm realizing after the special one, you don't want to go in and attack because you're going to miss and then you're going to get faltered. Well, it's not really faltered, but I guess it is faltered. But yeah, this guy's kind of a bit rough until you get used to him. Once you get used to him, he's not terrible, but it's just getting adjusted to that falter mechanic and everything. So I got lucky there that I was able to block that, but he can be a bit rough. You definitely want to bring a power control champ. Guillotine 2099 works great here. His special one's not bad to dodge. I'm just still a little bit wary on it. It's gonna take some adjusting to get used to. But there's a lot going on in this fight. You need to kind of pay attention to him, his specials, when he goes invisible, which is after his special one, so you don't want to hit him there. And just keep him power drained, because if he gets more persistent charges, he's gonna hit harder. But anyways, guys, that's all that I got. Let me know in the comments below, who were your MVPs for all of the bosses for this month's Cav difficulty event quest? Who did you find to be the best options? How did you find Strife and Jubilee to be? Which did you find the easier boss? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching and enjoy this quick word from Kevin Smith.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and if you enjoyed the mediocre MCOC video full of scrub gameplay, then show Katy some love by hitting like and subscribe, man. Katy don't ask for much. Katy did ask for this. Katy did. So do like Katy did and bug people and get you to like and subscribe, man. She's doing that MCOC beautifully, not mediocre. Katy!